The organization of writers known as PEN is holding its annual World Voices Festival of International Literature here in New York City. This year, the focus is on the culture of the African continent and its diaspora. The celebrated author, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, is co-curating the event. Her book, Americana, is an international hit being made into a major motion picture, and that's going to be good. László Jakab Orsós is the festival director. Adėwálė Àjàdí is a Nigerian barrister and playwright who is also participating in the festival. Well, of course, welcome to Arise Review.
Thanks for having us.
Tell us about this festival and what it means, and I guess also the significance of it coming to New York. Start with you.
Well, I think it's an opportunity to explore the complexity of the African continent, complexity of thought, of voices, and the ability to engage the American audience with our perspectives.
I guess the question is, and some people would ask, because there's so little attention paid to the continent of Africa unless there's something nefarious going on over there, why New York City?
Well, why Africa? It's the festival is taking place in New York every year. And as I started the festival 5 years ago, I'm Hungarian, I'm European. Working on a big international lineup in New York and introducing writers, after a couple of years I thought that what we should really focus on a given region or continent to somehow sharpen the attention. And my first choice was Africa. And the reason for that is because all the preconceived notions when it comes to the continent. You see, I'm sitting next to a barista, a playwright, a businessman. This is Africa to me, and this is art to me. And all the other people in the lineup, not just Ngugi wa Thiong'o, not just Chimamanda Adichie. Of course, these are the most important and most recognizable names, but there is an amazing current of fresh, relevant thinkers in Africa. So my take on Africa is this, to actually shed light to that.
Okay, well, outside of you, Mr. Barista, who else do you talk about? People that should be looking forward to seeing and hearing in this festival?
Oh, there's a broad spectrum of people. Chimamanda you talked about. There's other people from across the continent. I can't remember the names because it's a whole diversity of names. I mean, it's that Africa has a billion stories. Sure. Not just one or two. And there's a tendency to focus on one or two stories rather than the broad spectrum of stories.
There was a TV series on in the United States called The Naked City. I think this was back in like the late 50s and early 60s. And it was opened up. Well, there were 8 million people in the Naked City, 8 million stories. So you have millions and millions of stories over here and people and voices that need to be heard through the power of the pen. What are we going to witness here in terms of these stories being either unique or different than any other parts of the world? Or do we find the human condition focusing on the same kinds of problems, the same kinds of challenges, poverty, disease, all those kinds of things? What would you say?
Yes and no. Of course, we're not going to shy away from the most important and most burning issues: gender, diaspora, migration and immigration. These are important ones, but we also want to talk about Africa as a large continent which is not different from any other continent. This is a huge, complex, culturally, socially complex place with the same stories, same issues, same tensions, and same beauties as any other continent. Time has arrived and we have to realize this and kind of like really just get rid of all these preconceived notions. It's not going to be easy and it's not going to be fast.
Well, you know, they say that a big hero starts with the first bite, and on a journey of 1,000 miles, it starts with the first step. And of course, we've run out of time here, but László and Adėwálė, I want to thank you. Much success to this, and we're looking forward for a lot of good things coming out of this. It's about time, I would say.
Now it's in his hand.
And I'm going to shake your hand.
Thank
Actually,
you
both of you. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here on Arise Review.
Thank you.
All right. Coming up next, a nice surprise for Arise, and we'll be right back.